Welcome to the Military Historian Podcast. I'm Lloyd Shellenberger. I'm your host. Thank you for tuning in. Hi, my name is Lloyd Shellenberger. I'm your military historian. And today we're going to have some interviews with the family and then the letters from Baghdad, left behind. These are the actual subjects that were involved in this book. Today we have Thaair Al-Abase. And say hello.
Hi, I'm Thaair Al-Abase, Thaairalabase, fifth born of 7 kids.
Wow, yes, there is actually 7 kids here. And once again, he has a story to tell because he was involved with one of the biggest operations probably over in my period of time when I was over there of getting this family out. Your father was killed by terrorists,
Yes.
Saddam loyalists.
Yes.
Is it fair to say that had you stayed in that country, your whole family would have probably perished?
Most definitely, yes.
Okay. What do you remember about your father?
He was a good man. He took care of us. Complicated man in a lot of spots, but a man who, other than most things, always wanted to protect his family. No matter what, that was one of his number one goals.
What was his name?
Majid Al-Abase.
Yes. And your mother's name?
Fatima Al-Kabi, and she is the best mom in the world.
Yes, this is a woman, by the way, for anybody who doesn't know. After her husband was murdered, she had already had 6 kids and one on the way. She had to protect all 6 kids and was trying to do this while pregnant and run from the terrorists who were still looking for her.
Yes.
And the family. So if you ever believe you're tough, I really want you to rethink that, because she saw you guys, am I right?
Yep.
From getting out of that mess all the way to North Dakota and working 2 jobs at one time to support all of you. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what did you do at that time when you got back to help your family out, because you are a family unit, and Omar told me that everybody worked together. What did you do?
I was trying to learn the best English I can, so when I grow up I can always support my family.
Mm-hmm.
And working hard and trying to not set better standards, but live up to the expectations of working really hard and not squandering a second and a great opportunity at life that we got here when we came.
Did you ever, while you were in Iraq, you ever have anything, memories you remember of that time in Iraq?
Yeah, a couple.
Tell me a couple of them.
One of the best ones I have is maybe a month, 2 months before my dad passed away. I remember him waking me up in the middle of the night, and he would always like to snack, so he woke me up and he's like, "Hey, run to the kitchen and grab me one of the bananas, whatever fruit he told me to grab for him at the middle of the night." So I go run, grab it, and he just sits there, eats it, and he's like, "All right, come sleep next to me." It's just a funny moment, but just as a little kid, just waking up to go grab a snack for your dad is just some hilarious.
Yeah,
to
wake
me.
up, go get a
Yeah.
snack. Did you ever actually have to? Because Omar was telling me that he actually handed, because you were constantly under attack by the terrorists. Did he ever actually hand you a weapon and say, "You need to fight with us"?
No, I was too young
You
for
were
that.
too young.
But I do remember a lot of the battles that were happening next to our house. Some of the mortar strikes, some of the shots fired at us, just praying that none of them hit us. So,
A lot of your house had bullet riddled on the outside.
oh yeah,
I know that you're very close to your family,
yes,
and Omar is kind of your family leader.
yep.
So how do you support each other now, even though you're grown up?
Just immense emotional support, even if it needs to be financial support, any sort of support. Like if someone says, "Oh, I want to do this," nobody has a negative thought or an opinion. We're always like, no, if you want to do it, go do it, strive for the stars. And that's one of the best ways we've always supported each other. If we ever need anything, we'll always talk to each other. If we try to think the best way to elaborate on it, but if anybody in the family ever just needs anything or just wants to talk, we're always open books to each other. We'll always talk about how we're feeling or what we need to do together as a family to succeed.
Now, you guys got very close to the military while they were there, right? The 141st. A couple of those military people were Grant Wills. He was the captain at the time.
Yes.
And you have Sergeant Shane Becker.
Yeah.
He was was one of the best friends of your dad, correct?
Yes.
Tell me about that and how you saw that relationship between those two and the military and your family.
For us, it was really awesome because every time the military would come, they would always bring toys with them for us, and just watching my dad help out these people, because when we grew up, my family wasn't really liked over there too much because our dad was helping out the U.S., so a lot of loyalists did not like us, but when the army came, it seemed like we got backup or more friends and spiritual family in a way to always help us in, especially in times of need.
Did you know you were in an area that was pro-Saddam?
No, I did not.
So it didn't occur to you at the time?
No.
But you were very young, so this wasn't
Yeah.
something that you were concerned with politics, correct?
Yeah, I was just a little kid trying to run around and kick a soccer ball.
They played soccer with you, didn't they? So that was what the soldiers did.
Oh yeah, we always used to play games with them. I remember one day they brought us military cots to sleep on, which was just something different. I was like, oh nice, we finally have more proper bed type things for us, and it was just really cool. It was Christmas before I knew what Christmas was, kind of.
Right.
Every day they would come over, it would always be some new fun thing to do and always hang out with them. It was awesome.
What, if you had to sit back and look back at the time right now, can you tell me at any given point did you know that this might end in tragedy?
The firefight before we left our home there, I believe it was a day or 2 days before we left. That one was probably the battle that sticks with me the most, because that was the only time I would just consistently hear firefight going on and rockets going off, and just hoping that nothing would land at the house, nothing would take away any part of the family that I already had lost.
So just so the audience doesn't know what this means, this is after your father had already been killed, and they decided they want to get the rest of the family.
Yes, they had contracts out on my family's head, and I don't remember the price exactly, but I think it was $10,000 in Iraqi currency.
Could have been around anywhere from 10 to 18.
Yep.
But the point being is that they were bound and determined that anybody related to Majid was not going to leave there.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
And luckily, and you can correct me on this, but the soldiers, I believe from the infantry in the 141st,
Yep.
were waiting for them, and they had to fight them off.
Yes. And that's where, I don't know how to word that. It was a good time. It wasn't a good time, but it was a time where we felt safe because we lost the person who, my father at the time, who was protecting us, and now we had to, there was no role for that. So when the army came, we kind of felt like we had a shield to stand behind, and so we knew people were going to protect us and that God was watching out for us.
Absolutely. Grant and Shane and their families have been watching over you ever since.
Yep.
And they've become your extended family as well, correct?
Yes.
Tell me about that and how that's worked for you.
Awesome. They're always the people we love to see and hang out with. One of the best memories is when we came to America and we got off the plane. The first two people we saw were Grant and Shane, and that was just an unbelievable feeling, because when we thought we were coming to this country, we weren't going to see anybody we knew. We thought we were going to be by ourselves, but when we saw them, it was just an absolutely different experience, because it was one of the best feelings ever, because we knew everything was going to be all right when we saw those two when we got off that plane.
Well, your mother told you on multiple occasions that she knew the Americans would never leave her.
Yeah.
She had faith in them. You had faith in them, and your brothers and sisters did as a result.
Yes.
Which she led the way.
Yeah.
getting to America, there's a big culture shock here.
Yeah.
You grew up in Iraq, and whatever the situation may have been in Iraq, what is absolutely true is kids are cruel.
Oh yeah.
You had to deal with bullying, so did the rest of your family. That all changed when the story came out, what you had gone through.
Yes.
Because I think they maybe, and correct me if I'm wrong, did most people realize you couldn't bully somebody that's been through all this?
Yeah. It like people would pick on me, but I just brush it off because sticks and stones might break my bones, but words will never hurt me. So even then, when they were saying words, it was partially like I didn't care too much, and the second was more of I couldn't understand what they were saying, so I'd always be laughing like, you guys can say what you want, but at the end of the day, it's hard to understand you. Being picked on, it wasn't really anything crazy. It wasn't like people wanting to fight. It was just more of like, oh, you're the evil country we had to go to war with, and typical, behavior like that. But it wasn't anything I wasn't gonna get over. Like, it was just another day. So
Culturally ignorant people.
yes.
They didn't realize, and I hate to say this, most people realize that 99% of Iraqis did not want that war.
Yes.
It was the government, not the people, who were a problem.
Yep.
And the soldiers themselves were not a problem. They were doing their job.
Yes.
Did at any point when you went into hiding, you hid in southern Baghdad, correct?
Yeah.
You didn't go to the deserts of Samara or anywhere else. It was southern Baghdad.
Yep.
And that was relatives, correct?
Yes.
And you couldn't go outside. Tell me about that.
It
for
was
2 months. You were
Yeah.
basically enslaved.
Yeah. To like Saddam's people, they basically wanted to make us slaves or equivalent of, but still very harsh life. But when we came to southern Baghdad, we had militia kind of protect us for a while. They're like, as soon as your time's up, we can't protect you anymore, don't leave. So we stayed with our relatives on our mom's side through that entire time until we eventually got to go to the green zone.
Yeah, that was in May. That was actually in March 5th. You got picked up to go to the green zone.
Yes.
So, what is it about that time, being in the green zone, that you remember? Because I talked to Omar. You guys used to run around the green zone,
Yeah.
correct?
It was awesome. I still remember that was the first time I ever ate pizza. Eating pizza was so different because I remember they're like, no, don't eat haram food or all stuff like that. But just cheese pizza for the first time, just as a little kid, blowing my mind, which is wild. We had a lot of toys, running around, just fun because we knew it was safe. We knew it was with the people we trusted and the people that would take care of us over there.
When you went to the green zone, they gave you temporary assignment. I know where it was. It was actually a place that was very hard to get to, very hard to get into.
Yeah.
I came with Congressman Earl Pomeroy to interview you guys that day. Do you remember me coming to interview you guys?
I don't remember that, unfortunately.
Yeah, I remember some of you guys, actually a lot of you. And I remember it being a very cramped apartment space, but your mom had prepared food for everybody. She was being very hospitable under the circumstances, which you wonder how, because just, if my memory served me, not much further after you got into the thing, she went into labor very shortly.
Yes, I believe within a month.
Right, and you had to put off the leaving until that was.
Yep.
And then within days, she was ready to go.
Yeah.
Which I have. You show me an Iron Man, I can do that. I'm sorry, can't. It's not possible. But the day you headed out, do you remember that day? What do you remember about it when you got on Route Irish?
I remember we were leaving, we were driving really fast a lot of the time, and I can't remember which Humvee I was in, but I remember one of the machine gunners cocked back the gun. I was like, oh, something's gonna go crazy, but nothing happened, which is good. And then we got on the plane, we got to the airport, we flew to Jordan, I believe, and there were still people that were talking to us.
Yeah.
The country Jordan, yeah. Some people were still trying to find us, talk to us, like, no, come over here. We didn't realize what was going on and everything, but we still made it out of there, came to America, went to New York, really long flight, slept through a lot of it.
Private jet.
Yeah. Well, we landed in New York, which is awesome. We got to see a bunch of Manhattan, and then we took a private jet, got to North Dakota, and that's been the life so far.
You don't remember the day that we stopped on Route Irish, because I was with you guys. We stopped on Route Irish, and there was a suicide bomber there waiting for you guys.
Damn.
Yeah, you probably don't remember that, huh?
No.
And you wouldn't. You were probably in the first. You were probably in the second or third, because I think there was 3 Humvees.
Yep.
And you were probably in the second or third one, because your sisters were in the third one. Let me ask you something. Are you happy right now with your life?
Oh, yeah.
What about it you like the most?
The absolute freedom of just this country where you're allowed to do a lot of things that you want to do. You can go be free. You can have any religious view you want. You can do what you want, and you're not forced to do anything. You're not under a dictatorship. You can choose your leadership, which is completely different, which is really nice. Right. Because it gives you an opinion to expound what you want. Just the freedom of expression, the absolute different varieties of opinion across the country is amazing. Yeah.
What about America for you has been a uplifting thing for you? What about it that you love the most?
The most? The food. If I have to be honest, it's the food. I love the variety of food. I'm a foodie. I love eating food. But food is probably one of them. Hunting. I also like hunting.
Yeah,
when
we take after Omar.
Yeah. When we came here and we realized we could go hunting, that was awesome. I like going getting wild game, pheasants, deer, ducks. Really awesome. Hunting would be one of the top things. Being able to purchase land, work, which is nice. You can find any work. You can go anywhere and work across this country, which is awesome. The national parks are awesome. I love going to national parks sometimes, but music as well. That you brought it up. Music is amazing. I love listening to all types of music, but going to concerts and seeing everybody dance and just have a good time with no worries is a different feeling.
Yeah, it's true, because you really couldn't have any public outings in Iraq because you didn't know there was going to be a bomber or a killer, or a shooter somewhere.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I want to wrap this up, and I want to say to you,
okay,
your family is awesome. You guys have done well, despite everything that was thrown at you. You've all came back, and you've all done well, and you've excelled. What is it you're going to do with your life, and where are you headed with it?
Eventually, I want to be a great welder, to open up my own business, to be a great person. When I remember being told as a kid in America, when you grow up, you can be anything you want. And a lot of kids would say, oh, president. And I was like, no, I just want to be a person who has his own company, has a lot of money, and be able to protect what he loves.
Last thing I want to ask you, to every American out there who doesn't understand what war is, but you've seen it up close and personal, haven't you?
Yeah.
What would you tell them?
Sometimes some wars are unjust, but the people who go through them, the innocent people, everybody suffers in war. The person holding the gun, the people in front of the gun, everybody suffers. There's a lot of soldiers with PTSD. It's rough, but I understand why war is a necessary evil to get the good, because even though the Iraq war had different opinions of it, the people of Iraq currently have a different, are being more and more free, that more people are being allowed to have tattoos, more people are allowed to express themselves in different ways, which is a good thing. And if that's the message America wants to send to the world, I think that's a great message.
I will wrap it up in that. That is as good as it gets. I can't say it any better. I am Lloyd Shellenberger from the Military Historian Channel. I want to thank all of you for tuning in. I've been speaking with Thaair Al-Abase. I have been struggling with the era, but I will probably continue. But I want to thank you for being here, and I can't wait to talk to the rest of your family. Thank you.
Thanks.
That's it for the Military Historian Podcast. I'm Lloyd Shellenberger, your host. Tune in for more podcasts on the PNN Academy. Thank you.